Hello everyone, welcome to another process video. Today I'm doing another layout from my Double Trouble series. So that means I'm doing a 2-page 12 by 12 layout. These photos are from the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, specifically Diagon Alley in Orlando, Florida. And I have my photos here, and they're just random photos of my kids doing different spells. They got the interactive wands when we were there. They're just casting some spells here, learning how to do it the right way. And I've already picked out background paper, which is just white cardstock. I believe this is from Stampin' Up. And then I had a paper pad that had all of these kind of tropical looking colors in it, and this was one of the ones that I had in there. And I really loved the colors. I thought, okay, well, you know, if you look kind of closely, let me get a good one here. There we go. Closely these photos, we've got some multicolor things happening. So my younger son is wearing this tie-dyed shirt, which has some colors in here. And then my older son is wearing this, it's kind of hard to see, but it's a My Little Pony hat. He's a brony. He loves My Little Pony. And as you can see, there's his lanyard around his neck. We're crossing genres here. But the colors in here, I thought, again, would bring out some of this. So I'm going to hope that this all comes together and looks good when it's done. So the next thing I really have to do is figure out how I'm going to lay out these photos, because I didn't really get that far yet. I have an idea that I kind of want to maybe separate them like this, but if that doesn't work, they may end up in different locations, which would be totally fine. I adhered down the pattern paper to the cardstock, so that part's done. None of the photos are glued down yet. I wanted to sort of try out the placement here first. So my left side looks like this, and I kind of like the idea of these being flush to the top of the page, and then it overlaps that border between the white and the patterned, and it just gives me a little bit more space to work with. These are pretty large photos, and they take up the majority of that page. And then for the right hand side, I kind of like this. I'm going to put a card there, a 3x4 pocket style card. I just don't know which one it is yet. And then over here, I want to maybe take another 3x4 card and cut it down so that it's narrower, if I can find a design that works. Or I may just put a journaling strip in here or something. I'm not sure. But I like the idea that the words show a little bit more. So I think I'm going to start with that and see how it goes. I did find this card in my stash, Witchcraft and Wizardry. It's from a Harry Potter digital set that I bought, and I've been using it throughout these layouts, so if you've seen any of my other Harry Potter ones, you're probably recognizing some of these. Now, the only problem with this is it's very orange, and it's not quite the same orange that's down here. It's very bright, but I think I'm going to try it anyway, and I think I'm going to put it in this spot over here, because then it will offset this, because this is so green. If I put it over here, that's too much orange on orange, I think. So I'm going to put it over here, and I can glue all these down then, because I feel confident in how they're placed now that I found that other card. But then I still have this problem to figure out. So I'll do all of the gluing and just see what happens. I have everything adhered now, so that's what the orange card looks like once it's down and in place there. And I decided to add a little something. I went digging through my stickers that I have that relate to this trip, and I had put aside ones that were sort of Harry Potter themed or magic themed. And these are two that were in there. This one said thrilling, and I think it's supposed to be more about a ride, but it works in this case. And then I obviously have one that says magic. And so I just stuck them on cardstock, ripped the edges. The only problem is they're very white, so I'm going to have to ink them with something. And I think I'll probably do gray, just because there's a lot of gray in here and up here. I could also do the brown, maybe, because there is kind of a gold tint to this here. But I'm not sure. So I think it'll probably be gray. It's just more of a neutral. So I'm going to ink those and then figure out where to place them. I decided to do my inking in this color. This is Going Gray by Stampin' Up. This is very old, had it forever, but it still works, and it's a very nice neutral gray. So this is what the edges look like here once they're done. Sorry, that's one of my cats. She wants attention. When I went back to my stash to try to find something else that might work here or that would go with those other two pieces I had, I really didn't find any other stickers that I liked, but I found this. This was actually a journal card. So I cut it down just so that it would show this as the title, really, and then I just ripped the edge. So I'm going to have to ink this in the same gray. But I wanted to show you, I decided to put the one that says Thrilling on this left-hand side. And then the one that says Magic is on the right-hand side. And they're not directly across from each other, as you can see. This one is lower on this side, this one's a little bit higher. So I think this one is going to have to go up here in order to give me the visual triangle. And I'm not sure if I want it way at the top to make it look more like a title, or if I want it more maybe here, and then I could still put something here to journal. I'm not totally sure yet, but I'm going to at least ink it and then figure out where it's going to go. So I missed this when I was going through my stash before. I had just this little tidbit left, and this was on there. However, I don't know that it matches with anything here. It kind of does with the roof, maybe a little bit, but there's really no brick anywhere else on here, and I'm not sure that the color works necessarily. I thought maybe I could put it over here, like in the corner. I don't know. I'm kind of stumped as to what to do with the rest of this page, because this paper is quite busy too, so I have to keep that in mind. I can't go too crazy. But I like this, that this is spells. So I'm not sure. I'm gonna hold on to it and see if maybe I can fit it in somewhere, but if not, I'll have to come up with something else. So normally I'm a pretty organized person, but I was just going through stuff yet again to see if I could find something else. And here were the rest of these. How I missed these the first two times, I don't know. I can't even go there. Clearly I'm not organized enough when it comes to this. But it says Perfecting My Spell, and it matches kind of this one. It's a different font, but it both has kind of a brick. They both have brick patterns. You can see that, hopefully. So I don't know. I'm thinking I want to use them since they're doing spells. So I don't know. I'm going to play around with it, see what I can come up with, and hopefully something will come together. I decided to put these on like this. So here's the one on the left. And then I did use this one, and I just put it, I overlapped it over the Swish and Flick and put it there. Does it match perfectly? Probably not, but I wanted to use it, and I wasn't sure how else I would do it, and they were there. So you know what? They made it on the layout. Now, still have this big empty space here, and I'm considering leaving it because it's obvious what we're doing here, and then you can see more of the background paper. I almost feel like adding more here would just make it busier and busier, and I'm not sure that I want that. So I think for now I'm going to leave that. I do think though that I need to ink the edges here. I haven't been doing it a lot, but I think here it does need it just because I've done it with the gray here, and I think it will really help differentiate from this pattern paper to the solid. So I'm going to do that next. I inked the edges, and I'm glad I did it. It does add just a little bit, enough, I think, to not make it so stark white. However, I do feel like this is still missing something. So I'm going to go look through my stash, and I think I'm going to look at my acrylic pieces and little rubber pieces and things like that. Because if you look at this card, it's got these little stars and asterisks and little lightning bolts and things. I'm thinking maybe I can find something like that and maybe just disperse them throughout the page or the layout. So I don't know. I'll dig in there and I'll see what I find. I found these. These are from Studio Calico. They're quite large and they're very glittery, but they're kind of, you know, that gray silver color. So I'm wondering if I can make them work here somehow. I didn't want to make it too crazy busy, but I do think it certainly adds some flair and some bling. So I don't know. I'm going to mess with it. See what happens. I went for it. I decided to use them. So I just added one each to the 3 clusters that I had in the visual triangle. So there's one. And then the other 2 are both on this side of the layout. So there's that one and that one. And I'm just making peace with the fact that there's no journaling here. I don't think it needs it necessarily. So I think this one is done. So I've taken the camera off the stand so that you can see the layout in its entirety. Shh, cat. Sorry about that. And then you can get a very good idea for what it looks like. And one of my favorite things that I just noticed is that this whole word stands out. It didn't get covered up, and I kind of love it that it says journey. It's perfect since this was a big family trip for us. So I'm very happy with the final look here, and I hope you enjoyed watching. Thanks, everybody.